I still think there's underground movements out there which exist right now that I'm simply not aware of. I'm Tobias Van Veen. I've been DJing since 1993. I've been covering MUTEK since 2001, the second edition, the first major edition. On the one hand, in my own performance, I'm here to showcase a different style of DJing. I call techno turntablism or collision engineering, where I'll be presenting what I do, which is more on the grounds of sound art. The distinction between sound art and music is that sound art doesn't have to be music. MUTEK has changed a lot. I said that a couple years ago on a panel here, and that was 2004. It's created world-class events, shifted the focus away from Europe in terms of electronic music production for a few years. We're at that critical moment where things are going to taper off, or things are going to shift radically, dangerously maybe. It's not just about playing music off laptops and gear anymore. A lot of these artists are using highly complex hybrid forms of audio-visual, sort of presentation. I'm an old schooler. I'm still using vinyl. It's people who are 5 years younger than I am, 10 years younger than I am, who are starting to DJ or even been DJing for a couple of years who never even learned with vinyl. It's a totally different form. For example, right now, there's no sustainable record industry, vinyl record industry in North America. There's something magical about, I think, any sort of music that one encounters at an early age. So the first thing that I heard that fascinated me was electronic music on the radio late at night. And where did this come from? There's no social context for this for me, like as a kid, like at home. And when I moved into the city, into Vancouver, and a friend started bringing me raving, this was like 92, it was just like this whole secret hidden world. In fact, what I enjoy reading about and writing about is Afrofuturism. So we're talking like Detroit techno. We're talking about the sort of cross between Kraftwerk, George Clinton, resulting in Africa, Bambaataa, the early 80s, Rammellzee in terms of hip hop, and like Kool Keith, and like people who think of electronic music on interplanetary terms, the sort of heritage of Sun Ra. And for me, it's bringing people somewhere that has maybe the classical motif of a journey. But for example, tonight I had a very distinct concept for the DJ set. It was 1 hour in a very brief amount of time, and what I wanted to work with was the motif of the body. So I mixed Test Department into Throbbing Gristle, the track Discipline. I mixed into things like Matmos, which is about like surgical precision in terms of like all these sounds, crafted from surgery into minimal techno. I think the trick to DJing well, besides having a good set of skills, knowing how to beat match and actually doing something and not being a fucking human jukebox, which most DJs are, and you to drive people physically to a point whereupon they enter a different zone. If you have a warehouse, you should have like 36 18-inch bass bins with like, some like 21-inch, double servo driven quads in the corners, and like you should have like rafters of like 15s. You should have this like overwhelming sound system. You should feel physically oppressed by it. It should be this like black monolith. For me, I think it's important just to disseminate the music. Fascinating about podcasting. For one, podcasting allows you to bring it with you and create this whole kind of RSS feed down, easy downloadable system. So it makes getting a radio show much easier. But a radio show itself is a way of archiving things. What Fishhead and I do specifically on Control the Chaos is we try to act as collision engineers. We try to mix genres up. We try to make connections between records that a lot of people don't make. I'm always hoping to be surprised by something at MUTEK. Usually it comes from something I'm not expecting.